All right, so we here. I'm joined by my guy John Diaz. We got Abu, got your boy Kidhyphen. Let's get into it, straight into it. We're gonna do this for like quick 30. This our first episode, pretty much. Let's talk about the lightweight division, man. We had Lomachenko versus Richard Comey last night. Did y'all tune into the fights?
Yeah, I saw the fight,
Yeah,
bro. That shit was
I could barely hear y'all though. Hold on.
Yeah, Abu.
badass.
We're in San Diego and shit.
Yo, John. So what you think of the fights, man? Yo, Abu. So what you think of the fights?
Before I crashed on this
No,
TV.
the Loma fight, like it was a good fight. Like some people were talking about how they should have ended it early, but I feel like, bro, Comey showed so much heart in that fight that
He
it was
definitely
like
did.
so. Like I really thought it was gonna be over at the 7th round, but the fact that he lasted another 4 or 5 rounds right after that, and he came back, like he healed up, he was doing good. I feel like Loma went kind of easy on him though in the last couple rounds. I feel like he
I hate that shit. Like, I hate when Lomachenko was trying to get the corner to stop the fight. Like, I feel like that's why a lot of Lomachenko fights got stopped, because he built that narrative that most guys quit. And so the refs and the corners just look at that like, no, let these guys fight if they got the will to fight. Like, that's what boxing's about. You never know. One punch could change a fight. But I was happy with the outcome. Huh?
No, I was gonna say, like, I was really happy that they didn't stop it early, because like you gotta realize, like, Comey is like, he's a knockout artist.
And in
30
real
fights.
life, like being there live, yo, Comey shots, you could hear those shits. They were thundering. I don't know how they sounded on TV, but in real life, you got the impression that if any of those landed cleanly, they were gonna fucking hurt Loma.
Yeah. That's why, like, I feel like, especially with punchers, the guys who are big punchers, you should never end it too early, because what happens is, like, when they're hurt, the other guy's gonna come in, they're gonna try to like take them out. If they get caught, like, coming in with one good shot, that could like change the whole dynamic right there. But,
The
Loma,
other
like,
thing that I think a lot of lightweights kind of picked up on, and I feel like a lot of guys are doing this now, because I saw Comey doing it. They're turning with Lomachenko. When he tries to spin them, they spin with him. And I think it was Linares who was the first one to really do that. And now everybody, and then, Lopez did it to perfection. But now everybody's like, nah, we're not letting you spin us anymore. And even when we do, we're going to cancel it by clenching and reset. So it's really kind of like made Lomachenko work a little bit harder for his offense.
one thing the commentators are saying. I just want to say that those commentators, bro, like, you were there live, so I don't know if you.
Yeah, I ain't hear shit. I ain't hear nothing they were saying.
These guys are the most biased people of all time, bro. Like, I get Loma was doing really good, but they had an entire fight. They didn't give Comey any props whatsoever.
I didn't imagine they would.
Bro, like, it's so. Like, I
How about Tim Bradley? Tim Bradley's usually good. How about Tim?
Like, I don't remember what Tim was saying. Like, I just know, like, a lot of them, like the main guys who were talking, they were just like, all these guys were just Loma. Look how amazing Loma is. Blah blah blah. But I'm like, bro, like, I get it, Loma is good, but y'all gotta give Comey like his props for staying in, for recovering, for all the shit that he was doing. That shit.
I mean, but you gotta understand, when a guy's getting his ass whipped, there's really nothing to really say about it besides, damn, he's getting punched in the face, getting smacked all over the ring. Like,
yo, Jay, man,
you
so
know what I mean?
Your ranking real, or better yet, I'll ask both of y'all, because I asked this to Tim Bradley yesterday. I was talking to Jamel Herron, and I'll ask both of y'all the same question. What is the super fight right now at 135? What's the fight?
The fight, I'll say, Shakur Stevenson, Tank.
That's interesting. Nobody said that yesterday. How about you, Abu?
I think if we're talking about pay-per-view sales, right?
Whatever you think the super fight is, whatever that means to you.
I think the super fight is Ryan versus Tank. They got the biggest following.
That is true. That's good.
You gotta realize, Ryan Garcia got 10+ million followers on Instagram. And you could say all this shit that Instagram don't count, But those are people who are gonna like, even if 1% of them buy the ticket, whatever, buy or watch the fight, he has more followers and more people who will like buy it than like anybody else. You know, like Devin not selling out nobody, like no stadiums, like how Tank and Ryan are. Tank sold out a stadium on a Sunday night, like with like
Yeah, that shit
against a
was packed too. That shit was jam packed. He did damn near 16,000.
But with like that shit had like no undercut or something either. It had like with a little nobody even knew who Isaac Cruz was before that night, and he still.
Yeah, he did damn
Ryan
near
got so
16K
many
on a
haters,
Sunday.
Bro, Ryan got so many haters that people like they want to see him get beat, but that's pay-per-view numbers right there, you know. That's the mega fight right there. That's bigger than any unification
That
fight.
definitely is a mega fight. In my opinion, the fight to me, that's the super fight. And what I mean by super fight is like when you think of Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, Terence Crawford, Errol Spence. My super fight at 135 is Lomachenko and Tank.
You think that's gonna happen though?
It's not really about whether it's gonna happen. I just think those are the two guys that are the ones that people really don't have a definitive answer to. Like if you ask 10 people, 5 gonna say Loma, 5 gonna say Tank, you know, because it's really hard to tell. Because to be honest, all of these guys look like they're playing to their level of competition at times, you know, like we might think, yo, nobody's touching Tank. And then Isaac Cruz comes around and gets like a really good fight with him. And then it's like, damn. And then you got Loma and you thinking nobody could mess with Loma. Then Teofimo Lopez just does with him. He got 2 losses on his record. He only got what, like 16, 18 fights? 2 losses already. Yeah. So the facts are the facts.
135 right now reminds me of the 80s of 147 when it was Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Durant.
Oh, you talking about the 4 Kings. So if you talk about the 4 Kings,
this is it.
Then that means we got to talk about the Emperor. We got to talk about George Kambosos.
I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Well, don't lie to us. Recorded too. George, once he faces Haney, Luma, Tank, he's gonna lose that. He's gonna lose.
Damn. So you think he's food?
I think he's just, honestly, Teofimo, he came to that fight with more of a personal, he had like a personal agenda. Like he threw everything out the window. If he would have just stuck to boxing, I feel like he gave up that fight where he didn't fight his fight. He fought George fight. Just wanted to go out there and knock him out or bang. And that's not his fight. He should have fought him like he fought Loma. If he would have just stuck to his jab,
I agree. I agree.
He would have beat him. It was just a bad
night. I will tell you one thing. George Kambosos definitely showed me he got a couple of tools. Now he got some special things about. One, his durability might be leading the pack. That motherfucker is made out of adamantium. The shots he took from Tio, because that fight was way more competitive than people made it out to be. I didn't personally think it was 10-2 or like whatever people were scoring it. Tio was hitting him with shit. He was catching him clean, left hooks, right hands, like shots that should have, like, if I was Tio, I would have been like, yes, I got my shot in. This is the one that's going to put him out. Like, this is what I was waiting for. I got it. It connected, and then he just didn't go. He really got his durability might be the highest. And yo, he posted a video the other day of him doing some shadow boxing, and it had music in the background. At first, I thought it was sped up. He was so fast, I thought the video was sped up, but I heard the music, and the music was normal, and it was gym music. So if the video would have been sped up, the music would have been sped up. So I was like, yo, he might be the second.
This speed is real.
He might be the second fastest behind Ryan Garcia at lightweight.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Like, he definitely does have some fast ass hands. He definitely has a good boxing IQ. He definitely showed he could box too. Yeah. And I can't take that away from him. Mm-hmm. I can't take that away. But I just feel like Teofimo, he went into that fight just trying to literally just knock him out. Like he didn't try to break him down. by
Nah,
round.
you're right. Yeah,
None of
yeah,
that.
yeah. He had his hand low. He had his weak ass shoulder roll. It wasn't really doing nothing, and
He just
he
gave it up
I'm
definitely.
gonna say
where he
one
could.
thing.
He's
Yeah,
a
I
to
think
me, in my eyes, he's still a better fighter. It was just a bad night. He had a very bad night.
Mm,
I agree with that. I agree with that. I think Tio on his best night still beats George, but I think like you said that you thought George was food to the rest of the guy. I think George would beat Devin Haney. I think
that's
George would beat him.
interesting. That's an interesting. That's an
The
interesting
reason why
fight.
the
See,
reason
but the
why
thing is, the reason. All right, go ahead, go.
no, the reason I was gonna say is like I feel like the thing okay, look, what Devin has like as a flaw on him is that he gets hit. Like, every now and then he like opens up, he gets a little cocky and he gets hit flush on the chin a bunch of times.
He definitely does. He got a
And
bad habit of that.
two, George
He's
has
open for the right
crazy
hand.
reaction time. Like he's able to like just avoid shit like super well. Robert?
John, what you said?
No, it is. No, yeah. Well, so what I was saying to that is that he's open. Devin Haney's open for George's right hand.
George got a pretty good right hand though. He was able to drop Tio with that. You might say it's a flash knockdown, whatever, but we seen Devin get some wobbly legs. He got some
for
wobbly
sure.
legs.
George
He got hit
definitely
with
has
the right.
enough power to put Devin down if he catches him clean, for sure. There's no
I'm not
doubt
saying he
about
will
it.
knock him out. Maybe get a knockdown or something,
Mhm.
and that goes to like on points. I think he will outpoints Devin. I think he just throws with so much volume that, and he knows how to get inside. Like one of the reasons why JoJo didn't do so good against Devin is because JoJo just couldn't get inside of him because he has like that 7-inch reach advantage on JoJo. But I think
No, we stop. Yo, so let me get y'all rankings for all the lightweights. Let's start off with Abu. I want to hear your top 5.
top 5 shit. I mean, right now you gotta put George number 1 just because like he has all the
That's
belts,
fair. That's fair.
He's the man to beat. Number 2, honestly, man, I still put Loma. Number 3, I would put Tank. Number 4, I'm gonna take like a wild shot with this, but I'm gonna put Ryan over Devin. I think Ryan, a lot of people underestimate, like, I know he talks way too much. Hold on, give me a sec. A lot of people underestimate his speed and his power. Give me one sec, I'll be right back.
Go ahead, do your thing. My boy Abu walking through San Francisco, just chilling. Giant.
So,
Johnny,
so my
top 5.
So my top 5. I'm still gonna. It sounds crazy. This is gonna sound crazy.
Nah, go ahead.
But I still put Tio number 1.
Okay.
I feel like he does need he still has a lot in him. I feel like he's gonna learn more than people actually know. Like I feel like this fight is gonna really make him into the animal that we know he really could be. So I'm gonna still put him at number 1. I put Ryan number 2.
Ryan number 2. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Go ahead.
I put Ryan number 2. The reason why I feel like people count out his boxing abilities and his power, man, and I feel like the reason why I put him number 2 and he's in my number 2 because he was open-minded to the whole mental illness thing. I feel like his comeback is gonna be crazy. Devin 3. Tank, I'll put him 4. I'll put Tank 4. Reason why I feel like his last performance was not impressive to me. I feel like
even with the broken hand,
even with the broken hand, it's like. Well, I just feel like I don't know, man. I just feel like Haney could outbox him. I really feel like that in a real fight, not sparring, none of that stuff. I'm talking about a real fight. I feel like when it comes to, it's like it's an old saying: a good big guy beats a good small guy, and I just feel like that's gonna always be the key with him. I don't feel like he could I don't feel like he could keep up with Ryan. I don't feel like Tank could keep up with Ryan.
That's a
when
bold
in a
statement.
fight.
I'm gonna hold you to that, man. I'm gonna hold you to that if that fight ever comes. Woo.
I'm surprised you got
Just-
Lomo so
just-
low on that list, bro. You got him like what, number 5 right now?
Lomo,
Yes.
I mean Lomo. Honestly, Lomo is just different to me. I was gonna say that. That's what I was gonna say. I feel like Lomo is just someone.
Wait, so backtrack real quick. You got Tio.
Tio number 1.
You got Ryan Garcia number 2.
Right, number 2.
You got
Number
Devin Haney
2.
number 3.
Number 3.
Tank number 4. Who's 5?
I'm a put Lomo number 5.
Number 5.
The reason. Well, I feel like he could be anywhere in my top 5. I feel like Lomo is just special though. You know, he's someone.
Yeah, so the Emperor's not there at all, huh? No Emperor?
Nah, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not really like. Again, I know Tio gave up that fight. Like, just knowing how I just know if they was to fight again, mark my words, Tio's gonna beat him so easy.
But
If they was to fight again, I don't know if it will ever happen.
But yo, okay, before Andy, before you give your listing, right? Actually, no, give your listing, and then I wanna ask something right after that. But give your listing first.
My number 1. I would almost be very close to putting Tio there. The only reason I'm not gonna put Tio on my list at all is because he's kind of made it clear that he's no longer gonna be at 35 and moving to 40. So I can't put him at a weight class he's no longer actively engaged in. So that being said, I gotta put Tank number 1 for 35 for me. I can't imagine anybody being able to beat Tank right now. I just can't. To me, he has the speed, the power, and the skills. He has the 3 things that if a guy walks into a gym with those 3 things, a coach is drooling. Like, he has all 3 of those, which is very rare. The only thing that he lacks in is size. That's the only thing he lacks in. Number 2, by a hair. I mean by a hair, because I think these 2 guys are neck and neck. Number 2 is Lomachenko. And like, it's not even close, to be honest. It's Tank, Lomachenko, and then the gap is like over here now. It goes Tank and Loma, and then the gap is like Ryan Garcia and Devin, like kind of like 3A and 3B. Like, I really don't know which one, because Ryan has speed and power. That's what's special about Ryan. Ryan can literally just knock you out. And if he catches you,
he can knock you out in 1 second.
But he has so many glaring flaws. He just chin up in the air. His feet are flat. His feet are slow too. His actual feet, they're slow. He swipes down on punches for his defense. He leaves himself open. He has a lot of liabilities. So him and Devin is a really fun fight, I think, because they both have these liabilities that are glaring for each other, so they match really well. So I go Tank, Loma, Ryan Garcia, Devin. No, I'm bugging. I'm sorry. Tank, Loma, George Kambosos, Ryan Garcia, Devin.
So let me ask you something real quick. If you, like, I'm asking for both of you guys, right? If you were Ryan Garcia right now, right? And then I'm asking about Tio, but if you were Ryan Garcia right now, or his manager, or like, who would you like? Okay, if you were Ryan Garcia's manager, who would you tell him to fight next? Like, what is his best comeback fight? Because I think, and I saw on Twitter, like, he was talking about a potential comeback fight with Isaac Cruz. I think that's a really good comeback fight.
I think I think he should stay away from Isaac Cruz personally.
I feel like he should go. I feel like he should go for the top dog. I'm more of like how it was in the 80s, man. Go for the top dog.
I feel that.
Go for the guy with all the belts.
If I'm his manager, I'm definitely not doing that. So there's two routes I would go for Ryan. If it was available, I would go George Kambosos. If George was willing to take that fight, I'd go George, only because you have nothing to lose as Ryan Garcia. You're a hot boy prospect who is fighting essentially to be undisputed by some people's accounts. And if you take the L, you're taking the L to the guy who beat Teofimo Lopez. Nobody's really gonna be mad at you for that unless you get like a devastating KO or something like that, you know?
happen.
So if I was his manager, I would definitely be trying to line up George Kambosos for him because also stylistically, he matches up well with him. He's taller than him, he's faster than him, and he has more power than him. So it's actually a good style match because styles always make fights. They always make fights. But a good fight for Ryan right now, I would get him somebody small who's moving up. I'd get him like maybe a Jamel Herring or like somebody smaller who's willing to go for a nice payday just to get him back in the mix, honestly.
Nah, I think the reason why I would say
That sounds good.
actually John, go ahead.
Nah, that sounds good. But go ahead, Abu.
I was gonna say the reason I said Isaac Cruz, right? Is because like Tank couldn't knock out Cruz, and there's like this like ongoing little rivalry that Ryan Tank have been having, right? If Ryan, and I'm not saying Cruz would be an easy fight. Cruz is like he's building up stardom. They're both from like Spanish background. They got that going for them. If he can knock out Cruz, that builds the narrative that like, yo, he did something that even Tank couldn't do,
It does. That's a roll of the dice because Isaac Cruz is no joke. The thing about Isaac Cruz, he doesn't do anything great, but he does a lot of things good. He has that high guard Mike Tyson defense, like Mike Tyson right here. He got that high guard and he has that peekaboo. And he knows how to catch shots. Ryan will fuck around and break his hand just like Tank did. He'll fuck around and punch his elbow and break his hand.
If he comes back and he takes an easy fight, he's at this position where like he's been talking so much hot shit for the last year that the fans, if they come back and see him like fight some like Jamal Herring or something, that's like, yo, bro, what you doing? Like, you've been talking all this hot shit. Now you gotta come back. You gotta like have a big fight. I think like the fans are like at the point where like they want to see him like really prove his worth.
A good fight, honestly, a good fight. And this is a sleeper fight, but a really good fight. I'm talking about this could potentially be a fucking war. And it's a good measuring stick because boxing is all about measuring sticks. Two things. Boxing is about the measuring stick because people love triangle theories. People love that guy fought this guy, so this guy fought that guy fought this guy. How did he compare? So with Ryan, you got to understand, boxing fans are fickle. If you put him in there with, let's say, somebody who's not of his caliber, but he gets a fantastic knockout, it's all over Instagram. Doesn't matter what the guy's name is. Yo, Ryan's unbeatable. You see, he knocked this guy out in two. It doesn't matter who he is. That's why it works with Tank. That's why it works with these high-profile fighters because it really doesn't matter who the guy is across from him as long as you, as the fighter, are exciting. Now, if you want to take a little bit of a risk and do a triangle theory, put him in there with Nakatani, the guy who Loma just fought before this fight. The tall Asian dude. That tall Asian dude stopped Felix Verdejo. He went 12 with Tio. A lot of people said that he exposed Tio because that was like a guy that post Tio like being champ had actually gave Tio problems and who Loma just recently stopped. I think Loma stopped him in like the 9th or the 7th or something like that. But he's a tough SOB. Like that dude could straight up fight. Nakatani could fight. And he's a warrior. So you put him in there with a Richard Comey or like a Nakatani, you got a fight in your hands for Ryan. And it just adds another person right there that he could say like, yo, I fought a former champion. I beat a former champion, XYZ. Or
what do you guys rate Ryan's jab, his jab game? Do you think he got a jab?
I haven't seen Ryan long. I can't even tell you.
Like, is he able to box? Do you feel like he got the boxing ability?
I'll tell you exactly what's wrong with his jab. He has a really fast jab, but he throws it and then he drops it. He throws the jab and then he drops it. So the right hands are always right there. He doesn't bring his jab straight back up. It's not like a very real technical jab. It's not like the jab that Canelo uses or Floyd would use or like an Andre Ward would use. He has like a lazy flicker jab that he throws because he values speed so high. And really his jab is just to set up his left hook. He's always looking for his big left hook. So his jab isn't really something he measures with or uses offensively on its own. He just uses it to set up big left hooks and big right hands. Like when Luke Campbell, he would do a flying left hook and then a right hand. He loves those 3-2, that 3-2 combination or a 1-3. He never does like a 1-1 or a triple jab. Like he ain't jabbing like Muhammad Ali or nothing like that, you know?
Yo, John, you versus Ryan will be a good fight, bro. Like you should do that shit. Call him out when. But
For real though.
if you were, let's just go through like the other guys in the 135 division. If you were George's manager, who do you think what's next? Because George got everything on the table, and everything. Like I feel like as long as he fights a big name guy, don't matter who. As long as it's Devin, Ryan, Tank, Loma, he could fight any of those guys, and he'll get like that's a big name. He'll get.
I'm gonna say this.
But,
If I was his manager, I would say fight Tank, stay away from Loma.
you said to fight Tank? Dang.
Stay away from Loma.
If I'm his
Loma will
manager,
beat him easy.
yeah, Loma's the highest risk, lowest reward. Loma has nothing to offer but legacy. Loma has no belts. Loma doesn't have no big audience outside of hardcore boxing fans. And Loma's not the big money fight. Loma is a fantastic, beautiful boxer and fighter overall. And he'll beat George Kambosos, in my opinion. But as far as, if I'm his manager, I'm not looking at Lomachenko as like even the top 3. The guy who I would put him in, though, the Devin Haney fight doesn't mean much to me if I'm George Kambosos' manager. The only reason Devin Haney is interesting is because he supposedly has the WBC bout. But that's all semantics. And the reason it's semantics is because even the WBC page on Instagram and Suleiman himself recognized George Kambosos as undisputed. And not only that, literally, Lomachenko had the WBC belt, and Devin never won that belt in the ring. So if you're going by the old school way of the man who beat the man, Teofimo beat the man who beat the man with all those belts. Loma just vacated it, and then Devin acquired it because he had the lower version and he got upgraded. So it depends on if George and his team really care about the semantics of undisputed and being unified, which I don't think they do because the world knows the truth. You just beat Tio and Tio beat Loma. So if I'm him and I really believe in myself and I'm a Spartan and I'm all these great things and I just beat Teofimo Lopez and I could absorb Teofimo's shots and his athleticism, I'm going to fight what I believe on paper to be a smaller version of him, and that's Tank. And I'm going to go for that money.
Yeah.
I think, I said.
That's what I was saying. I'll saying
because
I'll
if you
fight
Tio,
Tank.
you got to think you could beat Tank. Like in your head, if you're George's manager, you got to look at Tank and be like, he's doing the same thing Tio's doing. He's just a southpaw version. He's athletic, a power puncher. He's super fast. He has a similar boxing style.
But if you think about it, George got more experience with southpaws. He's been training with Manny Pacquiao. So he probably is even more suited for Tank than he is for Tio. But
yeah,
that's what I was gonna say too.
The only thing is that fucking we've removed the 40 minutes. I love it. Cool. Okay. The only thing is that Tank is cerebral. That's his lowest rated quality. Tank is not gonna come in there the way Tio came in. So as his manager, you got to really think, nah, Tank's not gonna do that. Tank's not gonna come swinging for the fences trying to knock you out in the first round. Tank's gonna use that beautiful jab that he got. Tank got a great southpaw jab, and he's gonna be looking for them right hooks to the body, them uppercuts, and Tank is more accustomed to fighting people who are taller. So if your hands aren't high, he's gonna catch you right over your guard and get you right in your chin, which is the way he gets a lot of people. And he's gonna line you up because his feet are so good. He's gonna have that straight left just going right down. So Tank is a dangerous fight for anybody, man. Like honestly, at 135, Tank is scary.
Nah, yeah, he is. And I just realized too, he's moving up, so he's kind of really not in the conversation, which is it's kind of whack.
Yeah, I kind of hope that you know, sometimes people just need time to really like think about what it is they want to do. Cause in my opinion, 140 is fucking stacked. And T.O.'s big, but he's not that big. Josh Taylor's a fucking monster, man. Like,
well, that's gonna be my next like question with the guys with the manager question. I'll be like, if you're a T.O. manager, if you're his dad right now, what you tell him to do? What would you tell T.O. to do?
I would tell T.O. to seriously like sit and meditate on whether or not, if he's disciplined, can he maintain being 135? Because I don't believe in the whole myth of guys not being able to maintain weight. I've actually had this conversation with Barack from Ak and Barack, where we've spoken about he's been the same weight since he was, super young. I've been the same weight damn near since I was in high school. I've gone up being undisciplined, but I've always been able to come back down to where my peak weight is. Yeah. For me to walk like if John's walking around heavy right now, but he knows mentally if he got to, he could cut down to 135. It's not like he's outgrown it. He could do it. It's a matter of lifestyle and discipline, Yeah. I think but honestly, if it's too much stress for a high level athlete who's functioning on T.O.'s level and he has to go up that 5 pounds so that he could just, be a little bit better, so be it. But at that point, he's going to really have to focus on masterful Lomachenko Knight-esque boxing. Like every fight, he's going to have to fight at that level.
For 140, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like T.O. is in a tough position. Like, number one, the first thing I recommend to him is like turn off your phone because you don't want to be on the internet because that shit get into his head. I could tell.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he needs to avoid like all this animosity because the world betrayed him. Like, he thought like he had all these fans with there.
It's a good learning experience. You learn from that. It gives you thick skin.
But I feel like he's the type of guy. I don't know him in person, nothing. But I feel like he's the type of guy who gets like who that like really affects him. You know what I mean? It
definitely did. It definitely did. There's no doubt about that. But it builds character. It can build character, and it should build character. It should. Ideally, it should. And sometimes a guy like that, who we've seen it happen with in recent times? A guy like LeBron James. That shit got to him. When people hated him, he did not like that shit. And then he had that little stint where he was the villain, and that wasn't really good for him either. It wasn't until he finally accepted, hey, some people just aren't gonna like you, and that's okay, that he was able to play at his, his peak performance, But for a good second, he was that series against the Mavs, that was terrible. He averaged like 18 or something like that. So, it might take T.O. a little bit of time to really get that kind of Floyd Mayweather mentality where he doesn't mind being disliked. Because when you go in there and you don't give a fuck what it's like that Rick and Morty shit. I don't know if y'all watch Rick and Morty, but he's like something about, I've seen what you cheer for, so I don't care about your boos, And I love that quote. I love that quote. Like, I've seen what you cheer for, so your boos don't mean anything to me. You have to carry that mentality with you in life. Like, people are fickle. They're fickle.
Yo, let me ask you something real quick. Oh shit, Thomas hopping on. That's cool.
Oh shit, Sensei's in here? Yo, Sensei, we're gonna extend it 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes left in me. We're gonna do 5 minutes more.
Yo, let me ask you something, right? Whenever someone loses in boxing, right? And I've noticed this anytime anybody loses right now, the first thing the fans say is like, yo, you should change your trainer. You gotta get a new trainer, blah, blah, blah. Do you think T.O. should leave his father?
No, that's the stupidest thing. People call his dad a fake trainer, a fake coach, or this or that. He needs to get a real coach. They say the same thing about Sean Porter. He needs to get a real coach. They say the same thing with Danny Garcia. He needs to, bro, these are real boxing coaches. These guys have trained many fighters besides their star athlete son. They have a bunch of amateur fighters. These guys have been in the game a long time. These are guys who are in the gym. And it's not to mention, like, go on YouTube, go look up some Teofimo Lopez pad work. You don't do the kind of pad work that T.O. Sr. is doing and not know a little bit of something about boxing. He came up with a great game plan to beat Lomachenko. You know, not only that, he got Tio as far as he did. That's the apex. You beat the guy. You beat Lomachenko. You beat who people thought was arguably the very best boxer on earth, and you beat him clearly.
Yeah.
You know, the only people who don't think so are like those super Loma fans. You know, so honestly, Pops is cool. Y'all just got to get back to business. Y'all both made a mistake. You know,
They both got to go back into the drawing board, especially the coach. You know, the coach is the one who's telling the fighter the game plan or teaching him the game plan. So I wouldn't say change the trainer, more just go back into the drawing board together.
And even if they do splits happen. Floyd Mayweather split from Floyd Mayweather Sr. And then he went with Roger for a good minute. And honestly, my favorite Floyd Mayweather is with Roger. That's my favorite version of Floyd. But you know, same thing with Shane Mosley. Shane Mosley was with his pops. Same thing. Sometimes that split has to happen. It doesn't mean that the fighter is bad or the coach is bad. It just means that there's a disconnect and that things have gotten a little staticky between fighter and coach. And sometimes that change does need to happen. It's not a reflection of their level or like their adequacy at their job. They're all professionals and they've all been doing this a long time. You know, so it's not a matter of that. Sometimes you just the chemistry isn't there anymore sometimes. But hopefully that's not the case because I like them as a tandem and as a team. They just got to sit down and really game plan their comeback. And maybe those health complications are true too. I don't know.
I feel like what I noticed about Tio, I feel like I think he should embrace the villain role, to be honest with you. Because his dad, like what he got going for him is that, like, you know, that loud, like, you know, really like gets under other people's skin, you know. People don't like that. But like a lot of that's, you know, really like it's for propaganda. That's what I'm assuming. A lot of it's for propaganda. I think he could fit into the villain role quite nicely if like they could. I think they could pull it off.
Floyd blueprint. That's the Floyd blueprint. That's the blueprint's already been laid out.
But
the thing with Floyd is that he will play that villain role, but he's going in there with his game plan, and his game plan was always to box.
No, but like I'm saying, people be like, oh, father and son teams don't work. Bro, the greatest fighter ever, TBE, is a father and son team. Like, you can't say what it's worked so many times. You got Danny Garcia, Angel Garcia, Floyd Mayweather Jr., Floyd Mayweather Sr. You got Sean Porter and Kenny Porter. The list goes on. You know, like there's been many successful.
Lomachenko and Lomachenko.
Exactly.
To me, that's the best thing that a fighter could have is a dad, especially a smart dad that knows how to teach his son how to box correctly.
So if we were talking about father sons, actually, let me bring this up. Andy, I know you mad passionate about Kenny throwing in the towel a little early with Sean Porter. What do you think? Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. I feel like it was a little early, but I think TC still would have stopped him regardless. I'm not too mad about the stoppage. But what do you think? What's next for Sean? Like, is he really retired? Is that really it? Like what's he's taking?
I can't really call it sometimes. I spoke to Sean recently. He's in great spirits. Sean's somebody that's going to bounce back when something like that happens. You got to remember, boxing is flavor of the week. That was hot. That's last week's news. Like nobody cares anymore, you know? So as soon as the world moves on, the fighter moves on, Sean's made his peace with it. So it's not even something really crazy like that. In my personal opinion, Sean wasn't like everybody in boxing know he would have went. He was good to go. Now, could something have happened? Possibly, but I've never seen Terence Crawford put somebody out cold like how Conor Ben put out Chris Algieri last night.
Oh,
that's one punch KO knockout power. Terence Crawford is a
wait, time out. Chris Algieri got knocked out last night?
Yeah,
badly, terribly.
Yeah, what you think of Conor Ben? What do you think of him?
You got to put him right there with Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis. You got to put him in the conversation.
Oh,
nah. I feel like you do it a little too early, bro. I think you speak it a little too soon. I
Bro,
think even
Chris Algieri, yo, the guys he beat, he got a better resume than both of them.
And he got a crazy good jab too. The way he was jabbing.
He beat Granados.
Connor's best.
He beat Chris Algieri now, and damn, who's that other dude that he beat that Thurman and Spence both fought also? He got 3 good names on his resume right now that are way better than any of the names that Boots or Virgil Ortiz got right now.
I think Conor Ben, he got potential. Like I feel like they should feed him like some like maybe like.
I'll tell you one thing: Chris Algieri, again, he got stopped by Spence. There's a difference. He got knocked down. He was getting back up. Ref waved it off. We always have to remember when you see fights, you remember what happened in the fight. I was there live ringside at that fight. Chris was getting back up. It just wasn't competitive. When the fight's not competitive and the ref sees there's no reason for this fight to go on, he's going to wave it off. The one punch devastating knockout power, very rare. For instance, when Terence Crawford knocked out Kell Brook, that wasn't a knockout. He hit him with a nice curved jab hook and shook him up against the ropes and had his kind of back turned. And then it was like, he's still on his feet, you know? When Jacobs stopped Kid Chocolate,
that stoppage of Kell Brook though was clean though. I'm not gonna lie. Like
I mean,
like I feel you're not really giving Crawford the what do you call it? Like the credentials.
No, he's great at stopping people. He's great at stopping people. He's fantastic at getting stoppages. We're talking about
once he smells blood. Once he smells blood, it's like it's Crawford's on your
and
ass.
the thing is, he knows how to stop people. He stopped Jeff, but look, all his stoppages. He stopped Jeff Horn on his feet. He stopped Kell Brook on his feet. He stopped Sean
Jeff
Porter
Horn on his feet after knocking him down multiple times. Same thing.
He was
he actually
on his feet.
Yeah.
When you're stopped, when the ref stops the fight, the fighter was still. He wasn't wobbly. He wasn't nothing.
Yeah, but you could say the same thing for
Horn was beat. And in the post-fight interview, Horn was like, Crawford was just too good for me. Like he just said that straight up.
And that's what Kenny Porter saw. He saw that number one, his son, he knows his son more than anybody. It's nothing Kenny Porter doesn't know about Sean Porter. So him banging his fist on the floor when he's getting knocked down, and then also knowing the type of fighter Crawford is like, I feel like he did the right move by stopping that fight personally, because he knows.
I mean, we'll never know what was in Kenny's mind, but as far as like, could Sean have gone further? Absolutely. He was never hurt. We've seen guys be hurt. We know what hurt looks like. And if we go and look back at great fights, all-time great fights, I'm talking about Ruslan Provodnikov versus Timothy Bradley. I'm talking about any Evander Holyfield fight. I'm talking about Chris Algieri versus Ruslan Provodnikov. Some guys, they're bread and butter. I'm talking about even Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao. How many times did Manny Pacquiao knock down Jeff Horn or have Jeff Horn all stumbly? Sometimes a guy's bread and butter is his heart. If you take that away from him and you stop the fight, he has nothing else to live off of. Because some guys.
But the other thing was Sean Porter barely even touched Crawford.
That's not true.
Sean Porter. Like in the punch stats, Sean Porter, like.
Bro, you know, CompuBox is just human beings, right? Bro, you know, CompuBox is just a bunch of guys going like this.
Bro,
yeah, but like, but I watched that fight, and I don't think Sean really touched Crawford.
Yo,
to be honest,
there were people, including Coach Anthony, who had Sean up 8-1. A lot of people had Sean just blowing Crawford out for straight rounds. I had a similar card, and maybe, you know, things like that happen. Like, I speak about it before. I was speaking about it last night. I was actually talking with Lance Pugmire. I might be pronouncing his last name wrong, but he's like a boxing writer. And me and him were talking about Tank versus Leo Santa Cruz and whether or not Leo was competitive. But I was like, nah, Leo was coming in and he was getting those pity pat punches, but Tank was really just lining him up and waiting for that ultimate shot. Like sometimes you'll take 3 or 4 if you know you could land a really big one, you know? That wasn't what Crawford was doing. Crawford was legitimately getting tagged, but he liked it. Crawford's a dog. Crawford is like, he invites that fight. He invites that, ooh, you got me, you tagged me. I want to get some get back too. you know? So
Crawford got
we were
tagged, but he
robbed
didn't
of
get
a
tagged.
potential war. We got robbed of maybe something that could have been a fight of the year.
I'm not sure because Crawford got tagged, but he didn't get tagged like any of other Sean Porter's opponents. Like you look at Porter versus Spence, and like they were banging. You know what I'm saying?
Because
and
the
like
refs
Crawford
let it go. That's why Errol Spence left tight, because he's like, I wish Kenny was acting like
Errol,
that the night we fought, because I would have got the stoppage too. That's what goes through your mind.
Errol, when Errol knocked Porter down, Porter just like I think just his glove touched the canvas.
Yeah.
Like when Crawford knocked Porter down,
There's nuance.
Porter actually went down.
There's nuance because when you see Sean get hit, it's a big impacting blow. He absorbs it. He has his legs under him though. His balance was good. His glove grazes the canvas. It's counted as a knockdown. He gets himself back up. With Crawford, he was so down low and off balance. Crawford just catches him with a combo and then he kind of pushes him. And then Sean rolls back. Watch the replays. It's there all the time. But the knockdowns are very different knockdowns and there's nuance between them. And this is nothing to take away from Terence Crawford. He's a fucking beast. He's beating everybody at welterweight convincingly besides Errol Spence. Like that's the fight, you know, like besides Errol Spence, they're all, you know, he's taking them all out easy. That's the it fight to make. But the point being from the original conversation, there's different types of, there's power, like Conor Benn displayed, one punch knockout power. And then there's, I'm overwhelming a guy and I'm so skilled, like Lomachenko. They used to bill Loma as some kind of knockout artist.
He has some decent power.
He has good power, but he doesn't have. He don't got the power that Tank slept, that Tank put out fucking Leo Santa Cruz with. That's power.
But you gotta realize, like, actually, hold on. What was I gonna say? Like, yeah, Loma has decent power. He has, like, you know, like the overwhelming power. He gets some flash knockdowns on people. Like,
Loma has power for sure. You do not want to get hit by Lomachenko, but you can. Yeah, like that's my point. You can get hit by Lomachenko and survive. You know, with Tank, you really got to be like, fuck, like I'm risking my life if he catches me with this shit.
Bro, I want to say, like, everybody at 147 right now is a monster puncher. Fucking Errol Spence, TC, Ben, Victor, Virgil Ortiz, Boots Ennis, like every one of those guys got that one punch, like maybe not one punch knockout, but they got some shit that like, yo, is wild, and it stays throughout the round, and they come at you. It's a dangerous.
Like Spence never had that either, in my opinion. Spence is a guy who stops people.
But
he stops people.
He wears you down.
Yeah, he wears you down. He stops you. You know.
Well, I mean, I think Jaron Ennis has like that real power. Like
Boots has like. The thing is like we haven't really seen him touch anybody yet that's like on that level, so I can't really say just yet, you know. But it's interesting right now. Displayed power from all.
I think Ben has crazy power. Bastard.
You guys know who Ben's dad is, bro. Like Ben's dad is Nigel Ben, but like that's who have
Virgil Ortiz. No, Virgil. He got, I think he's
17-0, 17 KOs.
Yeah, he got 100% knockout ratio. Yeah, he got, as far as power goes, he's the man at 147.
So that dude, like his volume of punches and his gas tank is like 10 out of 10. Cause this dude, like he just comes at you, pop, 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 and he does not stop. Like all 12 rounds, he's just throwing like punches after punches after punches. That's a dangerous dude.
All right, so let's wrap this up real quick. I want to get from each of y'all, and we'll start with Abu, John, and then Shensei, and then myself. Let's start with Abu first. I want to get everybody's top 5 pound for pound. Start with you, Abu.
All right. Number 1, it gotta be Canelo Alvarez, just because most accomplished, everything. Right? I'm gonna leave out all heavyweights in this, right?
Okay,
That includes six because they don't really belong in a pound for pound. You know what I mean?
that's a valid point. I agree.
So I put Canelo number one. Number two, I'm gonna have to put. I'm gonna rate this by like who I think is like the most dangerous guys. You know, like, I'm gonna put Terence Crawford number two.
Mm.
Number three, I'll put. Damn, man, like. Man, I'm trying to do like one guy per division. Is in this kind of ranking almost like. To me, honestly, bro, a guy who gets he's not discussed enough, in a way. Nah, in a way, nobody fucking with him. In his weight class, ain't nobody fucking with him.
That's my
I gotta
number
put
one. That's my number one. I was saving him, but that's my number one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So far, Abu got like my list on point. But get how Abu keep talking.
number four. I'm gonna put somebody from the lightweight division. When we talk about like who's just dangerous and stuff, like what do I even say? Okay, even though I said George, I had him like up high first. I think like when we're talking about like who's really the best in that division, I gotta put like I'm really who no one can fuck with in their weight class. I gotta put it as Lomachenko. I think either Loma or like Tank. I'm gonna put Loma for now,
Okay.
and then I'm trying to do different divisions. I think another guy who was like really dangerous right now. What's put Loma and Tank? Those two guys. So yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll put those.
interesting. Okay. So you
Yeah,
got
that's
Canelo, you got Canelo, you got Terence
Yeah.
Crawford, you got Inoue, and you got Loma Tank.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
All right, Johnny boy, you're up.
I would say my list is the same, but when it comes to Lomo and Tank, shit. Nah, honestly, my list is the same. Abu hit it on the nail. I don't want to say anything else.
Damn, the
Abu hit
exact
it on the
same.
nail.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exact same.
Same way.
All right,
like
bet,
literally,
bet.
he was
Bet that. Sensei, what up? Talk to us.
because
My list, like, it's nearly the same. I have Crawford at one, and then Canelo at two. Just because I want to see Canelo versus B-Ball or Canelo versus somebody who's like I want to see Canelo fight like another top contender, top fighter like in the what do you call super middleweight division. Just be Caleb Plant in because yeah, I think like before I put him at number one, I just want to see him fight like something like that. So that's why Canelo's number two, and Terence Crawford I put him number one because he's been fighting like he's a boogeyman of the division. I think like he cleared out every single division he was in from 130, then he moved up, and now he's at 147. So I think Crawford's pound for pound number one. Number three, shit. Yeah, I definitely have Naoya Inoue at number three. He's unfucked. Like you can't fuck with him right now. But I still like even then like I'm still not sure because I want to see him fight like Donaire or Real Casimero. Like Donaire, like I want to see a Donaire rematch or like him versus John Real Casimero. Like because I think those two are like really fucking up the division too. And in the fight with Donaire, I think he shattered his orbital bone or something. Not shattered his orbital bone, but
Yeah,
Inoue was seeing double.
Like
yeah, I think that's what it is, right? The orbital bone. Yeah, so he
broke
shattered
his
that
orbital
shit.
bone, yeah.
And Donaire is like, I don't know what's up with Donaire, but I feel like he's getting better. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's so old, he's just getting better and better.
Yeah, he did.
So I wanna, like,
he also had an amazing knockout last night, body shot.
Yeah.
Good knockout, yeah.
So go ahead, keep going.
I think like yeah. So like, if Inoue like destroys Donaire or like Casimero, I'm putting him number one.
Okay.
Like no question, but like yeah, that's why. Yeah, so that's why Inoue is number three. Number four. This one's kind of like a shot in the dark in a way. But I think like Teofimo is still a threat. I think if Teo rematched Kambosos, he would beat him. But like I think he just came in with a poor game plan. He came in, he thought he was just gonna walk right through him, and he was, you know, he didn't know what he was dealing with. I think that's partially also due to his pops, the way his pops like. I'm not saying he needs to change his trainer or not. They just need to change their attitude. Like, you know, I think I think Teo has everything he needs to to be honest, knock out Kambosos. And I think Teo is I don't know, I think Teo's better than Tank too. So that's why I have Teo at number 4. Well, actually, but like I don't know if Teo's fought at multiple weight divisions like Tank though, you know. So actually I might have to take that back, to be honest. But I think Teo's definitely like still the guy you don't want to fight. And Teo and Richard Comey, they're the two guys, and Lomachenko, they're the guys you don't want to fight in the lightweight division. Nobody's calling out Richard Comey, even though he lost. Like, I don't know. I'm getting a little off topic with this, but yeah. So number 4 or 5, shit. I might have to put. Honestly, I might have to put Tank at number 4 just because he's been moving up and down these divisions and he's still catching stoppages. But I feel like he should have caught that stoppage against Cruz, or at least he should have showed out stronger against Cruz. So that like, so that number 4 spot is kind of like on thin ice, I think. Like he got to show out in the next fight. Not that like it was a good fight. But I feel like he should have really balled up against Cruz. You know what I'm saying? Put on a masterclass and shit. And number 5. Yeah, I might have to put I don't know. I might have to go with the same list as Abu, to be honest. Switch Tank and Lomachenko. Loma at 4, Tank at 5. Yeah, because
okay.
I think about Loma's been Loma tore shit up in the lower divisions. You can't forget that. Like he fought the power punchers and the light. Like Loma went up from like 126 or something. 120. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
went from a small ass weight. Oh yeah. So yeah, I think just because
that's a solid list, and that's a list I wouldn't be mad at if anybody told me. My list is more about the traditional pound for pound meaning. Like I really go back to the days of Sugar Ray Robinson, where they even came up with the meaning of pound for pound, where it was intended to compare different weight classes based on skill sets because these guys couldn't fight. So got Inoue at number 1. In my opinion, if anybody was the same size as Inoue, no, he'd beat every single person in boxing if he were the same size as them. I got Inoue. Number 2, I got Terence Crawford. In fact, the only reason I favor Spence against Crawford is because Spence is just bigger and stronger and has very close to similar skills. But straight up skills, Terence Crawford, there's nothing Terence Crawford can't do. He can do everything. So I got him at number 2. Then number 3, I got to go Canelo. He's a master. And he's only it's just these two guys are like so elite at what they do. With Canelo, the only thing I don't like about him is he got flat feet. But he does it real strategic. His flat feet are there so that he can really sit down on those punches. But I would like to see him on the balls of his feet more. But I put Canelo at number 3. Number 4, I got to go Lomachenko. Skill-wise, it's insane. And if you're alive today and you haven't seen Loma live, you need to make an effort to see Lomachenko before he retires. The things he does in the ring, especially if you're a boxer and you've been in the boxing ring, when you see him switch from one side to the other and get an angle on another guy, it's inhuman. It's literally the Matrix. It's almost as if, right, you're watching it's like you're watching Richard Comey play Street Fighter, which is like a 2D fighting game where he's existing in a 2-dimensional realm, and Lomachenko's like in Tekken, and he's able to move around the whole screen. That's the difference. He's existing in a whole entire separate dimension than the other fighters that he's against. You know, it really takes other special fighters to really have that level of them. And like I'm talking skills. Like Tio was that guy who had like Loma's like a 9 in skills. I give Tio like an 8 in skills, but Tio's so big, fast, athletic, powerful. It negates all those beautiful skills that Loma has. So Loma number 4, and then my number 5 is gonna be a real wild card, but I don't think nobody can fuck with him. I really don't think nobody can fuck with him, and that's Demetrius Andrade.
Oh shit.
I don't think nobody can fuck with Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade is a beast. He does. I can't imagine.
Fully agree. Andre versus Canelo.
That's the real super fight. If you're a boxing purist, that's the super fight for boxing
I'm gonna
purists.
tell you like this. I'm sorry, Andy. Love you, bro. But Canelo knocking him out.
Demetrius Andrade? I don't know.
I feel like
I think he could knock him out. I haven't been impressed with his last couple of fights for some
I was
reason.
really
I don't know.
impressed. The way he was looking his last fight, he was looking like Roy Jones. He was looking like prime Roy Jones. He's the closest thing I've seen to like a Roy Jones type fighter since Roy Jones. You know, like he got the athleticism, the boxing skills, he got the power. Like he got it all. He got it all. He's that dude. And he's, when you talk about boogeymen, that motherfucker is avoided like the plague. Nobody want to fight Demetrius Andrade.
Oh, Demetrius versus Caleb Plant. I think that'll be a good fight.
That would be a good fight. That would be a good fight. But Boo Boo's at 160. Like he's at 160, and
Okay.
the super fight for him there truly is him and Jamal Charlo.
Why hasn't that happened yet? I don't get it. Like,
Can't call it. Can't call it. Can't call it. Sometimes it's not that any of these guys are afraid of each other. It's that sometimes the business doesn't make sense. And sadly, as good as Boo Boo is, he's not like, you know, he's not mainstream, you know?
But even boxing fans, like, you got to be a real boxing fan to know who Boo Boo is. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And the crazy thing is, he got a hell of a personality. He's funny. He's charismatic. He has all the ingredients of a superstar boxer. It's just, for some reason, he hasn't really caught fire like that, you know?
Yo, let me ask you.
I just got one thing to say about Boo Boo. I look at his past opponents, like the past guys he's been fighting. I think the Luke guy was on like a 10 knockout streak until he fought.
Yeah, he fights like legitimate.
Boo Boo was fighting everybody. He was like, who has Boo Boo fought? He's been fighting everybody. Everybody else has been ducking. You know
exactly.
Like,
even the guy he's about to fight now, the guy he's about to fight now, his mandatory is like this Russian dude. Yo, this dude is no joke. This Eastern Euro guy. I forgot his name, but yo, this dude is the real deal and a threat. But yo, let's end it off on this note. I'm gonna edit this shit. I'm gonna chop it up. We going touch base. Let's try and do this like once a week where we touch base on whatever's going on in current events in boxing. And we'll try and lock in like a quick 30 minutes. It's easy. John's doing it in his car. Fucking Sensei is fucking, you know, jerking it right now. So
hey yo,
we don't even know.
We got boys in San Francisco.
I moved in San Francisco, so there's no excuses. No excuses. All right, y'all. I'll check y'all later, man. It's been we're gonna have to come up with a name for this too, but right now it's to be announced. But we're gonna be back at it. Peace.
Instead of box raw, box talk.
We're gonna talk about it.
All right, yeah.
All right, y'all.
raw box talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?